Hello, my name is Silvahara Perian. Welcome to another episode. You may not know his name, but you do know his artwork. The stickers and the posters of Obey the Giant are hard to miss at every street corner. The artist behind the art is Shepard Fairey. He has, through his art over the years, become an activist fighting for equal humanity for all people, regardless of race, religion, nation, or culture. It seems only fitting that he would have his solo exhibition right here in Glendale, in a city with a dark past, but a present that is hopeful, a community that is diverse, and its people resilient.
I love to share my ideas. I love to meet people. My work is all about finding connections with people. The work being out there to start the conversation and me taking part in it personally is really important.
Shepard Fairey is an iconic street artist. He found mainstream success with the design of the Hope poster for Barack Obama's 2008 campaign. It's said to have been the most effective American election poster in history.
Where do you want it signed?
Fairey is an activist who has, since he was young, been living his life with a sense of urgency.
I think I'm especially aware of that being a diabetic. My dad's a doctor who doesn't sugarcoat things, and he said to me when I was first diagnosed, if you don't take care of yourself, this is going to shorten your life a lot, and even if you do, your life is probably going to be shortened a bit. So I just thought that the clock is ticking, but I think we all understand when we really take a second to think about it that life is a span that is not that long, and it's really important to use your time wisely.
We spoke to Shepard Fairey at the opening of the new exhibit at ReflectSpace Gallery, tucked inside the Glendale Central Library. The exhibit is called Peace is Radical. His stance on social, political, and environmental issues are hard to miss in his art.
You know, I try to be very open and sensitive, and maybe too sensitive because I'm easily saddened and disheartened by a lot of the brutality in the world. But the way I process that, which I think is constructive and therapeutic, is I try to make images that have a way of addressing those issues, but also making people think about possibility and making them think about the role of beauty, how beauty touches the best part of who we are as humans, and you know, how you can have this dichotomy of escapism and engagement in art that's very rare in other places. I know that's been very helpful to me to understand that how that equation works, at least some of the time.
Fairey's work gained international attention in the early 90s with a sticker of wrestler Andre the Giant. It was a street campaign that led to an international cultural movement. The stickers were in every street corner.
I work really fast when I'm on the street. In fact, you know, it takes me about a minute to put a poster up.
The impact fascinated Fairey, this idea that there is power in showcasing something unusual and memorable in a public space, a space that's usually reserved for advertising and government signage. He admits he had stumbled into something powerful accidentally, but realizing it was just the beginning for him, he leaned in and built on it.
So my thing is, as a taxpayer, I should be able to put my thing out on an electrical box, any sort of public space that's not occupied by advertising. Either that, or there should be no billboards, no bus stop ads, nothing. The city's got to be consistent. And so as long as there's an inconsistency, I'm going to feel perfectly justified utilizing those spaces.
He took the street campaign a step further, adapting this first sticker to create the Obey the Giant campaign. He said, People don't like to be told to obey, but they do it all the time. He thought if people are confronted with it, perhaps they'll snap out of it.
The more I put out there, the more people are going to want to know, and more power it's going to gain from nothing. And I was fascinated by that idea.
The campaign featured a stylized and more simplified image of Andre the Giant's face. He painted Obey the Giant image in cities across the world. He said it was his attempt to democratize art. Obey the Giant has since become an iconic symbol of anti-conformity.
A well-known street artist turns himself in to Detroit authorities after being charged with vandalizing property.
Scaling buildings and billboards to put up his art in cities across the world landed him in trouble and reawakened the age-old question: is it art or is it vandalism?
He was wanted on 2 outstanding felony counts of malicious destruction of property. It's a situation Fairey himself has been in before.
Fairey's been arrested at least 18 times on various charges, including vandalism and destruction of property. Jail time made him rethink his tactics.
I'm just more careful now. I'm definitely afraid of being caught putting stuff up, because spending time in jail without my insulin is really dangerous, and I was really worried for my life when that happened in New York.
Back in Glendale, at his exhibit opening, he received a citation of a different kind.
Look at that. I'm getting citations from the government that aren't defined.
He was honored for his work. In attendance, U.S. State Representative Adam Schiff, City Council members Ellen Asadrian and Ardi Kasakian, and California State Senator Anthony Portantino, who presented Shepard Fairey with the California State Certificate of Appreciation.
Almost everything I do starts with me, having something that I am frustrated with, that I want to use my voice to address, or something I'm inspired by, and then how that mutates and takes shape into, evolves into something that I want to share with people is sometimes a very fast process and sometimes a very arduous, longer process.
Fairey continues to challenge the boundaries between traditional and commercial art and believes that art should be accessible to everyone. Co-curator of ReflectSpace Gallery, Ara Oshagan.
What's really critical is that a well-known artist like him would decide to have an exhibition here at the library, right? His work is all about social justice, and our gallery deals with social justice issues, and also he's a big supporter of libraries, public spaces where people can think, read, organize, have events. And the library is really important in terms of a context of an exhibition. It is perhaps one of the last non-commercial spaces that we have to gather, right? Everywhere you go to Americana, you go anywhere, people are trying to sell you stuff, right? Here, none of that, right? Here, it's all about reading and about gathering and bringing out issues. So we're very fortunate to be working as curators in this exhibition, in this gallery, to talk about these issues, social justice issues.
Fairey's used iconic images from Americana to question what it really means to be an American citizen. He was an outspoken critic of the Bush agenda and the Iraq War. In 2014, he painted a mural with the slogan, "Make Art, Not War," to promote an agenda of global peace. In 2015, he created an illustration at the Eiffel Tower in Paris that was unveiled during the climate conference. In 2017, in an attempt to protest President Trump's rhetoric, he took on the underlying issues of racism, sexism, xenophobia, environmental education, and climate change. Fairey produced a number of posters depicting minority Americans. The images were reminiscent of the Hope poster in the stylized features of red, white, and blue. The posters include the first 3 lines from the American Constitution: "We, the people."
I hope that, some people will consider that, fear and insecurity that it comes from, material accomplishment being put high up as something that's important to achieve is not maybe the way to feel good about yourself or to make other people feel good about themselves, but finding what we all have in common. And I obviously think that there's so much joy and creativity, but yeah, there's just more to life than the rat race, and I hope that my art conveys that. I hope that how I live my life conveys that.
Do you have a favorite?
I mean, in this room, I guess my favorite thing is this wall backdrop, because I think this wall backdrop is including several different things that I think work well individually, but it's also bringing them together harmoniously in a way that gives people a lot to digest. And the scale of it also, I think, is effective. I love painting large murals because it changes people's experience in the city, in the urban landscape. A lot of times people think, all of that space out there where there's impressive architecture or big signage, that's controlled by people with a lot of power or deep pockets. But I started off with a $4 an hour skate shop job and slowly built my way up to being able to do these larger murals, still with very few resources compared to the people that usually control those spaces. So I love the idea that a larger scale piece like this, that then also connects to what I do larger scale on the street, makes people think about individual empowerment, that we don't have to be spectators. We actually have more power than we think.
He once said that he hopes through his art and his career, people can see that you can succeed without being absorbed and corrupted by the system. Let that sink in for a second. Now, if you find yourself in Glendale, make sure you get yourself a limited edition card, a library card that he specifically designed for our library. I'm Silva Harapetian. Thanks for watching. See you next time.